Jurnee Smollett plays a woman named Judith, who has known her husband Brice since they were in high school, but now their marriage is starting to grow stale. Having just completed her graduate work in psychotherapy, she's eager to begin a career as a marriage counselor. She takes an internship at a matchmaking firm for millionaires and meets Harley, a charismatic client who makes no effort to hide his attraction to Judith, a man without self-control. Judith succumbs to these charms, placing her marriage in jeopardy. How's it going, YouTubers and Instagrammers? I got a great one for y'all today. It is called Tyler Perry's Temptations, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, because this whole story is told from the perspective of a marriage counselor. And that marriage counselor happens to be Judith. So before I begin, if you are new to this video, to this channel on YouTube, or to my page on Instagram, don't forget to follow me, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below, and most importantly, watch. And do you find, if you're just now hearing about temptation through this review, were you even aware if this was a Tyler Perry movie? Have you forgotten it was a Tyler Perry movie? Or if you've seen it, do you like it? Were you blown away? Were you gravitated to the story just as much as I was halfway through it? Like, going into it, I gave it a chance. I was patient, but then I loved it. It gave me all sorts of a Fall from Grace vibes, which I have seen a Fall from Grace before I get to this. But of course, I'll be giving you my review on a Fall from Grace later down in the series. But there's a lot of things that surprised me here, and I will talk about that later in the next session. Now, Tyler Perry's Temptation story is easily one of the best that quickly earns my attention during the first 20 minutes. It sticks out like a sore thumb, not in a sore way, not in a bad way, but it sticks out as an excellent cautionary tale about trying to overcome unhealthy pleasures. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I was not going into this film expecting anything outside of the promise of its premise, like the themes of romance, betrayal, relationships, and the toxic scars that sometimes breed from it, depending on the type of relationships you put yourselves in, recklessness, true love, tragedy, drama, redemption, and of course, temptations. I said it before and I will say it again. Tyler Perry does something that he has not done prior to this, which is the emphasis of pain. We know Tyler Perry's movies have characters who experience some type of pain. There is not a Tyler Perry movie that goes by where the characters don't have some type of pain. But the whole point of these characters having pain is so that you can relate to the audience, especially black people in the crowd, because most of these characters are black, dealing with the everyday struggles that the people who are watching them go through as well. But rarely is that pain used as a clutch for the story. Instead of just encountering the pain, they embrace it and they roll with the punches. It's like every Tyler Perry movie is bound to go through this storm of tribulations, and they get through it because, that's the status quo. But here, they stay in the storm longer than you could have imagined. It's like every storm cloud in every other Tyler Perry movie is like a cumulus cloud, and here it is a cumulonimbus. It is a monstrous looking cloud, and it takes a long time to get through this pain. Like, even into the thick of it, it just gets worse than it already has. The pain that we see gets shared through some of the characters is the part that sticks out for me. Almost evoking For Color Girl. Yeah, y'all didn't think I was going to bring up For Color Girls again, did you? While For Color Girls explored women who have spent most of their relationships in pain, it focuses on one woman who spent most of her life living clean, having a Christian upbringing. But the common relatability of struggling to fight temptation becomes prevalent to YAs, millennials, teenagers. YAs is young adults, by the way, but young adults, millennials fall under the same umbrella. Even if there is a teenager, young adult, or millennial that does not have this specific issue, we Us, me, we all go there once in a while, whether it's sexual or non-sexual. For a movie that is targeted relatively towards young people, though, who have been through a bad relationship or a seductively evil affair, the story is really pertaining to marriages when one becomes emotionally signed off or starts comparing their compatibility status when they meet somebody outside of their marriage. It is called fornication. It is called fornication. It is called adultery, or the culture calls it cheating. Now, necessarily, they don't really label this issue as cheating, but it is the prerequisite for cheating, for going against your spouse. Comparison is what fuels, not just in the movie, but in life. Comparison is what fuels an individual towards being tempted to do things that are self-destructive. Like, this doesn't even have to pertain to marriage or sex. It could be with money. Like, you start comparing to how much you earn at a job based off of how much this person earns at a job. So you try to do something, you try to cheat your way out of it, but you don't try to do it in the way that you should. You try to do it in the way that they're doing it. But in the way that they're doing it is not the way that you are doing it. Therefore, you are setting yourself up to trying to be like somebody else. You're wasting your time. The quality of love that we see the female lead be given from her husband is something that she is lucky to have and something that is very rare in this day and age. But having a simple and relaxing relationship was just not enough to drive the obscurity away. The fact that she was so neglectful towards something pure enough, that was pure, was enough for her to get swayed down a tragic path to pleasure and addiction with somebody who was less bright and more belligerent. Keep in mind, I said this in the beginning of the video, it is a self-written story being told by the protagonist. And we find out that the marriage counselor in the beginning of the movie is in fact Judith herself. I don't want to believe it, even though the actress that's playing this marriage counselor looks just like Miss Jurnee Smollett, but I didn't want to make those predicaments. But Judith, played to perfection by Jurnee Smollett, is a country girl who was always ambitious and aspires to become a marriage counselor. But it would take a lot of recuperation before this girl would become a marriage counselor rather than just aspirations. She and Brice had the same type of serene upbringing, so you would think that nothing would break their relationship anytime soon. Judith and Brice's marriage would become obscure way before she started having foreign affairs. And I believe this is not just with Brice becoming a little oblivious in their relationship. I mean, he forgot her birthday, and that's 2 years in a row. So I think there's more to her signing off than just forgetting a birthday. But because their relationship is so calm and tranquil, there's no wild side to their relationship. It's simple. There's only one side to it. There's no like flip side. There's no dark side. There are no heavy tragic secrets on it. It's just been smooth. It's been good. As a result, it felt like there was no fun dynamics happening between them. So Judith easily slipped away. Judith learns about Harley at work from her friend Ava, who, by the way, this role belonged to Kim Kardashian. She was in the zone in this role. I mean, it wasn't acting for her. It was just her being herself because, them Kardashians got it going on. Harley and Brice both have something that the other person does not have. Like, they both have something that each other have something that the opposite doesn't have. Brice is a righteous man who shows faith, respect, and the utmost amount of love towards Judith. And at times, he's an intelligent individual who focuses on his dreams and his goals, which is great for a man who looks like him. Harley is such... I felt this coming. Look, I knew this was going to happen. This is the part that was giving me a fall from grace type of vibes because she meets this stranger at work. This married woman, even though Grace in the movie wasn't married, she meets this guy who's easily catering to her wants and needs, and she easily falls for the man. Now, at first, you resist the devil twice. He's not going to stop pursuing you. He's going to keep coming after you. But Harley is such an elegant but somber sociopath. His mannerisms, his tone of voice, his facial expressions, in the small talks. He likes to ask these trick questions and play her close with devil's avocado that makes Judith get effortlessly tempted. The devil never stops tempting even after he has been turned down once, twice, or thrice. I mean, he tempted Jesus for 40 days and 40 nights. How do you think it was easy for her to say no? No. Judith's mother, Sarah, is here only to add more significance to the temptation dilemmas through imageries of Adam and Eve. Our Adam and Eve is Brice and Judith. And how there is a serpent who sports a charming and irresistible attitude and is tonally a smooth talker. So it is easy for the serpent to cater to the victim's desires. Just like how the serpent went for Eve, Harley went for Judith, and Judith fell for everything. She tried hard to slip away, but she could not resist. While Judith and Harley's timeline as compatible co-workers serves detrimental and doomed, we meet Brandy's Melinda. The hints we get, and this is another thing that helped me really think about A Fall from Grace. The hints we get at this character will bring, and what this character will bring to the plot reminded me of one of Tyler Perry, of this very landmark on Netflix by Tyler Perry, A Fall from Grace. Melinda is a character who sounds and behaves like a victim. You see it because she has such a meek outside personality. Well, her character, she comes off as having a meek demeanor. So when she approaches people, she's very reluctant, she's very self-conservative, and she's held back. And this is because of what she's already been through. Now, although she's been healed, she still has sexual scars on her. She has HIVs. Now this helps. The twist that naturally branches from the drama becomes apparent when we learn that Harley has an ex, after we learn that Melinda is running away from her ex. And after running away, this ex is what gave her HIV. And if you look at the fact that Harley has slept with many different women and keeps sleeping with different women without using no condoms, and now it gets inside of Judith, and now Judith has it, which is why we see her end up the way she end up at the end of the movie, thus giving us an amazing plot twist. Just put together the pieces and you got yourself a very suspenseful plot twist. I'm not saying, look, this is no Fall from Grace. It's not a Fall from Grace, but it definitely feels like it at times. While A Fall from Grace is a full-on legit suspense film, this is just a drama. It's just a drama, a romantic drama that has those type of touches that most romantic dramas have. But if you have different filmmakers giving out different, telling similar stories, romantic dramas that have some darkness to it or some tragedy or some type of trap. It's like when you have multiple different chefs cooking the same dish, each dish is going to taste different, even if it's the exact same ingredients and the exact same recipe. Like Tyler Perry, A Fall from Grace and Temptation feel the same, but they are not the same. The condition, everything speaks for itself, and the condition of Harley's sociopathic nature is tangible, even when the audience or Judith is not conscious of it. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 17%, meaning 17% of Rotten Tomatoes critics recommend Temptation. Temptation is for sure a certified Tyler Perry revisit. Whew. With the dramatic storyline about the pleasure principle and the reckless actions that result from it. Along with it comes an impeccable mystery subplot that helps the movie come close to A Fall from Grace. So for me, I, Sterling Still, officially give Temptation what it deserves. 9.5 SOs out of 10. NA. At first, going off, right off the bat, right off the critics, I decided to give it a 90. But I know that wasn't going to be enough because I knew I'd like this movie. I've started to like this movie more than both Why Did I Get Married films, and those before this review, those two had the highest ratings out of all the Tyler Perry films I've done before. But this now, as of August 4, 2021, this has the highest rating. So that is my review on Temptation. Y'all can let me know what y'all think of this in the comments below. If you remember Temptation, if not, please go watch it. Whatever you can do to watch it, just to get yourself a good mystery and a good romantic drama movie, or just some good love scenes. Just watch Temptation, and I do highly recommend A Fall from Grace. If you have Netflix and you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? But either way it goes, guys, see you guys tomorrow with my Way Back Wednesday review.